Do you align with any of his proposals when it comes to New York's finances?
Well,
whether that's a government-funded grocery store or taxing the rich. Like those are two of the big ones that have come out.
Well, look, keep in mind, wealthier people already pay they pay greater taxes, and the top, roughly like the top 2% pay well over 40% of the total income tax that we collect. So there's always that debate of, well, can they pay even more? And look, that's a fair debate, and that ultimately will be decided by the legislature. I'm not going to weigh in whether we should or we shouldn't. I just think that we need to be mindful, and we track this as well, that we do have taxpayer migration, from New York. Not everybody is leaving. Not every rich person is leaving, but we do have a net decrease of higher income people moving out of state or changing their residence and paying part-time taxes. And again, because we do depend significantly on personal income tax, particularly at the state level, the city has the property tax as well. They're a little less dependent directly on it. We don't want to be losing taxpayers. It's same thing about Wall Street. People suddenly criticize Wall Street. I always say, well, we want Wall Street to still be in New York, because when those people are here making money, we tax them. That helps pay for all those other programs that people depend on. So look, I think all this needs to be weighed and looked at. The city budget has to be managed as well. The city budget is similar to the state. There are out-year budget gaps. The city, and we've criticized this, they haven't done as much in building up reserves as they should have. The city economy is important to the state economy. So I think all this is going to be, whoever the next mayor is, going to have to weigh all of this. I guess the somewhat better news for the city is that the federal cutbacks a little less directly affect them, although some of the cuts on the social assistance and education would impact them. And of course, if the state has to cut back on funding, because so much of the state budget gets passed on to the city and school districts across the state localities, that could impact on the city in terms of their plans. So a lot of things may be proposed in the campaign, but if the money isn't there to pay for them, there may be a certain reality. And one other thing I didn't mention earlier, just keep in mind why we look at the federal relationship. In any given year, between 35 and 40% of the state budget is federal dollars that pass through, and then most of that's passed through to the local level. So this federal-state restructuring of the relationship, big implications for all of us.
Yeah. So no endorsement yet.
I don't think you heard of it.
I did not.